police launching a manhunt for suspects who killed 8 people in the area of Gugulethu, that's in Cape Town yesterday. Initial reports indicating that the victims were attending a traditional ceremony at the time of the attack. Police Minister Bheki Cele will receive a briefing from the Provincial Police Management of the Western Cape on these killings, and that's where we find Newzroom Afrika's Artie Mtongana, who is live for us at the scene. Artie, good morning to you. Explain to us exactly what happened here. We know that the Police Minister is descending to Cape Town this morning.
That's correct, Goli, and a very good morning to you. But before I talk about what had transpired, I just want to set the scene for you, just to paint the bleak picture around this community of NY79 in Gugulethu. Unfortunately, this is an all too familiar occurrence in this particular community, especially in communities such as Gugulethu and Khayelitsha, where there's been several mass shootings. The scene and the atmosphere this morning is somber. Many locals that I've been speaking to in the street have been expressing the trauma that they experienced when several shots were fired at around 4 p.m. yesterday. Now, there was a traditional ceremony, as you pointed out, at the house behind me, the white one behind me. But I'm just going to briefly move out of shot so my colleague can actually show you. And as I talk to you, I want to obviously bring you up to speed with regards to how it actually transpired. And I can see that there are people stepping out of that home. We did try and attempt to speak to them, many of them saying that they can't come on record because they're still very much traumatized. The 8th person passed away this morning. 5 of them were gunned down outside the home. There was a vehicle parked just outside this White House where 5 of those people were actually shot, and that's where they fell. Some of them were actually fleeing when they realized that the gunshots were coming from an unknown vehicle. So many of them, a few of them actually started running across and just ran through the street. I'm not sure if my colleague would then be able to show you that tape, that police tape that is still left behind there. That's where the police, of course, tried to cordon off last night, where they were combing the scene and trying to collect as much evidence as they could, because at this stage, the suspects are at large. The police, as you mentioned, have launched a manhunt. None of the suspects at this stage have been found. And so the people that were attending this traditional ceremony were left very much traumatized. And I'm sure now my colleague is on that tape and he's moving back. But just the scene this morning, Goli, is that the residents are very, very traumatized. 5 of them died on the spot. Some of them were actually on that greenhouse. If you can see that greenhouse, I don't know if my colleague is able to show you, some of the bodies were retrieved far away from where the actual traditional ceremony took place, to show that they were actually running from the gunshots. 2 others then, who were being transported to hospital, subsequently passed away. And then, of course, that took up the death toll from 5 to 7, and then this morning that death toll rising all the way up to 8. And the Minister of Police will, of course, get briefed by the Western Cape Police Management to tell them about what they have been able to gather at this stage. We have seen a little bit of police visibility around this area. We've seen a few police vehicles that indicate, of course, that this is obviously a very sensitive case in as far as investigations are concerned. We're hearing unconfirmed reports from locals who are saying that one of the people that were actually inside that house. I don't know if you recall, there was another big shooting that took place here in Gugulethu in NY 78. It's not too far from where we are. Those unconfirmed reports from locals who've been talking to me saying that some of the people that were at this traditional ceremony were people that survived a shooting that took place, which left about 5 people dead in NY 78. So police are going to be, of course, investigating all these kind of statements that they are probably collecting from locals and witnesses and people who are very quite familiar with the area of Gugulethu. There are also unconfirmed reports of gang involvement in as far as this incident is concerned. We're hearing of gang groups like Boko Haram. We know that the Western Cape is one of the leading provinces in the country when it comes to gang-related violence. And even if you go through the crime statistics, you would see that the Western Cape is really troubled by the ongoing gang violence.
Sure. Ati, what a tragic story that you have just relayed for us. It's absolutely shocking and quite, yeah, I simply don't know what to say, because as you correctly say, it's not the first of this incident to be seen in Cape Town. We're going to continue tracking the story with Atim Tongana.